Hello, hello, hello. It's Mark Attwood here. Mark Attwood Show Adventures in the Cosmic Suit. What an exciting surprise we have today. We've got Terry by Janine. Oh, can I say that? Probably not. Damn. Probably just lost my YouTube channel. But we have somebody called Janine who's quite good at the cards coming on in a minute. Before she comes on, please remember to check the description underneath the video and especially get... Oh, shit. I always do this. Always do this. Damn. Left the YouTube channel on. Remember to get on my email list. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, forget about me rambling. Here's Janine. Hello, Janine.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Mark.
How's it going?
Good, good. Hopefully, if you just said it once, you should be okay.
Well, yeah. I took a risk by putting you on YouTube, but what the hell?
Yeah.
What's life without risks? Anyway,
Yeah.
what's the crack? How's it going?
Awesome. Right on.
I want to start by just offering my condolences for your brother, Jerry. I know that that's been a tough time for you, and I really appreciate you coming on and soldiering on. And we had a chat about that off air, and I'm just glad he left the legacy and went the way he wanted to go.
Yep.
So God bless you, Jerry. I never met you. I wish I had, but my thoughts are with you all. We've only got 50 minutes today because you've got another show to do. So foolishly, I asked everybody for questions and I got 370 responses. So I just want to apologize to everybody whose question doesn't get answered because it ain't going to be possible. So if you're happy, I'll do. There's something I want to put on for you first. There we go. Canadian. I'm a Canadian today. What's the order?
Oh my goodness.
I was talking to Bruce Poppy the other day, and we were just laughing about the parties in the back of the car and on the American tour. That was just hilarious.
Yeah, I'm still missing. Like nothing compares to those parties.
Well, we just we did our best. Those Natalie and Bruce are just brilliant. But they've done up Esther apparently, and it's looking really good and spicky. So I'll stop talking because everybody will be getting annoyed with me because they want to hear from you. So I'm going through some questions here. This is from Rudy Nielsen in Denmark. How far have the Alliance come with cleaning the dumbs?
Okay. So that is a 60% roughly is what I mean, I don't think it's exact, but it's like 60-40 kind of energy. So they've got a good, it looks like a good dent into it. Yep. And then this card here is the Queen of Wands. They have enough done in the dumbs that they can actually bring out the truth soon, it looks like, because she's truth and integrity and bringing things out of the shadows. Anything with wands is lighting things up. So I feel like we're going to actually hear about what's really going on. We might even get some literal footage, which I know it'll be hard for people, but I think it's really important because this card was in the middle. So they have enough strength that they feel confident to bring this out to the public really soon here. So that's pretty exciting. This was in the past, which is our, of course, deep state, dark culty card.
Well, that's really interesting. Just before I came on air, I went into one of my WhatsApp groups and somebody just posted a really disturbing video of what I can best describe as a chimera, which is like an animal with a human face. And I just went, oh God, because I think there's going to be lots of that.
Yep.
So just get prepared for that, everybody. Okay, so that's pretty positive because we are losing a lot of people are losing their grip on reality, just waiting.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a question from Holland from Anna. The future here looks quite dark with our government. I think the Netherlands are quite black and is in drugs and hosting child porn. Are there any white hats in the Netherlands? That's the question. I mean, also, did you see that the government are trying to take over 3,000 farms? That's not going to happen.
Yeah. According to some truthers, sort of newer ones out there, and I won't say the name of on YouTube because they're probably going to be, you're going to be shadow banned if I even say their name. The Netherlands are the seat of the cult. The seat of it, like
Well,
they're where they
yeah.
all get together. Yeah.
Well, the Bilderberg Group was started by the King of the Netherlands, was it, in the 50s? And, you know, the human hunting parties were all... Oh, it's a shame because it's such a nice country.
Yeah. Okay, so they're holding up, letting you know, but they've capitulated the governments there. So this card is about made deals, and whoever was willing to come on side with the alliance, I'll just call them the alliance on this show. Whoever made deals with them has already capitulated. Some withheld. In particular, a really powerful woman who's just refuses to capitulate. Yeah, because we got these two powerful women cards. But I think it's a matter of time before she gets wrestled down to where they need her as well. And I even get she might be processed, we'll just say.
I think they've all been processed. That's my feeling. I think they've all been processed. Yep. We're just watching it play out.
So it could even be the brand of her.
Yeah. And right? you said on Telegram, you've been saying this for a long time. You said that on Telegram today about Elon Musk being a brand and controlled. I mean, look at what's going on there. It's amazing.
Yeah. So people need to keep in their heart that and visualize that things have already been taken care of, and it'll help bring it out in the open. That's what I think anyway.
I totally agree. I've got a personal question. Have you seen these videos of the animals going around in circles?
Yeah.
I
watched your show. I watched your show where you guys were talking about it.
Yeah. Have you done the cards on that at all?
I did with Jean-Claude. We did a live on Monday night, and it looked like it was a message from Earth energy. I also got that volcano was an Earth energy message, the one in Hawaii that's not erupted for 40 years, and it's erupting as of Monday night. I got that was a message. So they're on ley lines and or they're on energy sort of, centers, I guess. And it's being affected by the Earth, these animals. That's what I got anyway.
Yeah, and I for some reason I went back to Kim Clement's prophecies.
Yep.
Recently, and he was talking about God talking about turning the mountains into just melting them, and then these volcanoes start kicking off. And these circles, the animals, what I got was it was very much like the cymatic sound energy from inside the Earth, which is why we have circles, like Adam's calendar and all of that. So I think, yeah, that all links up with what I'm feeling as well. A lot of people ask this question about Trump, Trump's statement about it's going to be a great Christmas. Will that be this Christmas? The first guy to ask this was Tom from Maidenhead.
Okay. So that's a soft yes. It might not be right on the day of Christmas, but this is the season of it, whatever he was talking about there. And it has something to do with abundance and good for the humans' abundance. So that might have something to do with the financial system in the background that I've been thinking gets more publicly known or becomes useful to us, because right now it kind of seems to be running alongside the old system, which has been dying a long, slow death for a really long time. Or that could even be a big part of the movie. It's already died. A lot of people say that. It's already went away of the dinosaurs, we'll say, the old system. And it's just literally the burial happening right now.
Well, anecdotally, all I've noticed is my banking apps have been acting really weird in the last few months.
Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed something interesting about banking and or credit that looks really different. I went with somebody with an excellent credit rating to go buy a car, and it took forever to get. So they wanted to purchase the car and pay monthly. and they wanted a really good rate. And usually somebody with a credit rating like they had in Canada would get it, it would just be like that, and they'd get a really good rate. And of course, we know the rates are over the top right now and just crazy. They almost didn't lend them any money. It's like they don't want to lend anybody money. And I was talking to the fellow at the car dealership, and he said that's the way it's been here for months. It's almost impossible to get financing. You got to basically pay cash for cars.
Very similar with mortgages in Ireland. The last few years, it's just like
Yep.
one bank now, full control. Yeah, I'm getting all that. That feels good. Michelle Champion says, is our planet larger than what we've been told or shown? I think we know the answer to this one.
Yep. Well, let's just make sure that's still the case.
It's hard for me to go through these questions and go, right, have we done that one before? But yeah, we'll do my best.
I deep dived that one with Ashley on Deep Dive Fridays.
Yeah, can't you bring that back?
Yeah, we will. That was
a really good show.
Yeah, just everything hit with the Jerry situation, and and a few other things before that, and we'll get back to it.
Cool.
Okay, so I'd say yes. This is tunes to Jupiter, which is always expansive and large. Okay, but there's a lot of it is hidden. So there's a percentage of it hidden. In fact, there's 1/4 of it hidden from us. So I guess that gives us a clue how much bigger it is.
Yeah, well, it's a lot bigger. Some people have, I'm just going to mention this. Some people have said in this list of questions, how do we find Janine? Just go to tarotbyjanine.com, and the links below this should be below this video. If it's not, I'll put it up afterwards, but that's where you find most of Janine's stuff. Which is
I'm
great.
also on several, chats like what we're doing here. And I'm on Rumble on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And that's a free Rumble show. That's really fun with Jean-Claude.
Yeah, Jean-Claude's great. Go to Rumble. Yep. You have to start using Rumble, guys. I know you're used to YouTube, but go to Rumble. We're all over the place, and Telegram and Twitter. Yep. Yeah, a lot of people asking about Melbourne because the dictator Dan got voted back here. What's that all about?
Yeah, I did a reading on it just before it happened, and I got he would in a landslide, or it would appear, and it's all to oust the bad guys. Again, very similar to what happened in the U.S. on both their recent competitions. And yeah, it's falsified on purpose to shock you and get you thinking about how on earth did that happen when nobody can stand them. You know what I mean? Happened in Canada. It happens everywhere. Happened in Brazil. And it's all part of the movie.
I mean a lot of people also, they're also asking people are asking about Matt Hancock being on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I mean, you put a mass murderer and making him a celebrity on TV. Yeah. Is that, what?
Yeah. So many things are big clues. I mean, it's so obvious what they're doing in Canada. They sent a letter out to all of, in a couple of different provinces, they sent a letter to all of the medical people's doctors, higher ups in the medical professions. And they said, if somebody is, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. hesitant to take those products from the big pharma companies for this recent situation that happened that closed everything down. If they're hesitant, then you need to refer them to basically mental illness drugs.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It is. There's a lot of questions as well about, I don't know if you've done cards on this recently, but there's a large amount of immigration of young men to Ireland and the UK. And I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Been a lot of soldiers involved in this,
yeah.
But it's really freaking people out because there's loads of homeless people here, and then they're just feeding and housing all these people. Have you done a recent reading on that? Or do you want to do one now?
Yep, I did a recent reading on it, and what I got was, and that's some of the readings that you can't seem to get into. We'll have to get you in.
I'm locked out.
Yeah, you're locked out. Okay, we'll figure that out. But yeah, I did a reading on that, literally on Ireland and what was going on with the 20 to 30-year-old men, not even families, coming in under the guise of what I was told by a few different people that emailed me. They said it was under the guise of immigration, and it didn't make any sense because how are these young guys just immigrating? No families, no women and children. And they were saying they were coming from the Ukraine, in fact, these couple of emails I got. So we looked right at that, and it looked like they were actually beefing up a situation with good military, and they were going to be utilizing those military, but for the good of humans if they need it in the coming days and weeks, because I'm thinking things could get interesting here in the world.
Well, yeah, that's an understatement. Talking about in the world, Anna Bromley's asking about you to do a deeper dive into the off-worlders showing up in the UK. And I don't know if I've spoken to you since, but when I was in the Sahara, we had an astronomer there, and he was talking about these satellites, and I'd already called the ships in, and we had loads of them. And I pointed one out to him and said, "Well, that satellite's just stopped midair. Well, how's that happen?" And he couldn't believe it, and he just ignored the question. So Anna's asking, who are they? What will they do? Now, you and I got steered away from this question by 107. Did you get any deeper into that since? Because I've not spoken to you in a while.
No, I keep getting, though, and so that's probably what they're referring to. I keep getting on any show I get asked about the UK, that's going to be the first place or the most dramatic place that they show up. And that's part of their awakening. It seems to focus on otherworldly, or I guess I call them other dimensional, right?
Yeah.
Just to cover all the bases. That's
well, ET, I like ET because extraterrestrial means of another land rather than spaceship, Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So let's see. So it looks karmic and necessary to happen there. Okay, so that's interesting. So it's like the spirit world deems that area to be where it happens. Now, I don't know how they come up with that, but I don't question those kind of things because these are heavy hitting cards that, they're destined. So it's destined to be there, it looks like. And that's the karmic destiny card, especially when it's next to another big major arcana. This is the judgment card. So it's a wake up call, waking up people to the fact that there are ETs, that they do exist, that they've been here, they're with us. Okay. Now, this is interesting. This was in the past. So they're the ones that have been cloaked. So they're already around. In fact, I think they're heavily around, and you've been calling them and other people have been calling them. They're heavily around and intuitively connected to certain people, in particular people that are, resonating with that energy or calling it like you are. Certain people can call them in already. So it's already happening. It might be scary at first. Okay, but they're not here to do harm. So they're not a harmful bunch, and they don't look like they're some kind of fakery by the deep state. They look, or dark cult. They look loving. So they're a loving bunch there to be helpful, although it'll be really scary at first.
Well, just for people watching this that don't know my story, I've been seeing ships for 30, 40 years. And then last year I got told to look up and connect. And I connected with the star. And the star basically, cut a long story short, it said to me, "Are you scared?" I said, "No." And then this light popped up. And then I saw this huge triangular ship that was kind of burnt orange, covered in hieroglyphics. And then it Star Trek'd off. And ever since then, I've been chilled AF because they're real. It's real. And I've seen dragons made of light. You can't ignore this stuff. The secret is, guys, if you're watching this, if you've not seen any, just go and buy yourself a moose hat. They love these. Right.
Or go on a road trip with Mark Attwood because we saw they were following us.
They were. Do you remember that picture I took out of the car?
Yeah.
I took a random picture. It was you. You said that there were 4 ships near us. And then 10 minutes later, I took a random picture out. And then somebody said, "What's that?" And I zoomed in, and there were 4 ships there. That was that just coming into California? I think it was, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah. So that was pretty special.
Yeah.
Arash Yazdani, hi Arash. He says, please ask Janine about the situation in Iran. Have you been asked about Iran recently?
No.
Okay, where's this revolution going? Is there any lights at the end of this dark tunnel for the Iranian people? Are there any white hats in Iran? That's a lot of questions, but I think it's important. We do. I've been talking about this recently. We do always focus on Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and America and the UK, and these other countries where people don't speak English as a first language are important. Jason Q's in the audience. Hello, Jason Q.
Right
Tom's
on.
in the audience as well. Hello, Tom.
Awesome. Hey guys, I miss those guys.
It's like a big family, and we we
So
may be separated by miles, but
Iran had to call in really big reinforcements. This looks like this is my ET and or even like humans in our future. So future human, like galactic helpers, so many words for this, but the really evolved soul. So this is like my alliance card. Like beyond even white hats, because it's not on boots on the ground. This is more that spiritual energy. Surrender to, they needed to call in the big, I won't say that GUN word because that could get us in trouble. They need to call that in because there was a lot of really, really dark energy there that's just barely been rounded up. Okay, so and or near future will be. So they've got a grip on it in the very near future, but it could even still be giving them a hard time. So I feel like they're less ahead of the game maybe than some other places, but they're going to be. If they'll surrender finally, but they're fighting till the last. These guys, they're fighting to tooth and nail there. So it looks like they're being wrestled down by, and they had to call in the big energies.
Yeah.
Spiritually. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these questions for specific countries do tend to have similar answers because it's a global thing. But I've got one here from Scotland, from Catherine G. And the reason I'm reading this out is because I love the way she's described Nicola Sturgeon as the Tartan tyrant. Is she going to bite the dust this side of Christmas? She seems to be doing all she can to bring about digital identity cards by next year to continue with the gender confusion chaos. Yeah, probably the same answer.
Yeah. So she's an undercover working for the good guys, or her brand is being used to appear a certain way. So she is actually on side with, or at least her brand is. So she's being told what to say. So we've got a puppeted person that's in line with this is like the Mr. T and the White Hats card pass. So that it's been quite a while that she was turned over here. And her original self might have actually been already removed. Just saying. Yeah, that looks like that. Her original self. So it'll look really difficult. I'll say that word. Because when you say too many of the S word, you get in trouble. You don't want to do that to people on YouTube. Okay, it'll look really bad, but she's actually working to expose these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the dark hats, she's working to expose them by all the things she's doing. So she's exposing all of their agendas, just like Trudeau in Canada's doing that. He's a brand. He's not the real person. I mean, he looks nothing like it by now. He's so far removed from the original guy. It's almost laughable.
Thank God, because the original one was a And when the Tartan Tyrant has finished her job, hopefully we'll see a return of the Crankies on Saturday night TV. That's just for Scottish people.
I'm sure that's a good story.
It is. It's there was this little woman who played a schoolboy as a comedy thing in the 80s. Yeah. It was terrible, but she looks just like the Scottish PM. And we can all sit.
PM took it off. They took it off.
What? Just look. It just. You know, she looks exactly. Look, I'll explain it later.
Okay.
But we'll be able to watch it with deep fried Mars bars and custard. It'd be lovely. Okay, so I'm trying to get some serious questions here. Okay, Anne Agnew. Okay, the Roland Brunson case going before the U.S. Supreme Court. Where do you see this case going? Do you know anything about that case?
Yep. So Jean-Claude and I started talking about it even before Juan 07 was talking about it, which is kind of interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Not that I'm claiming we broke the story or anything, but it was
Yes, you are.
interesting. Maybe in a roundabout way I am. Anyway, he's coming on with Jean-Claude and I tomorrow on
Juan.
Rumble. Yeah, Juan 07. He agreed to come on.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, we're kind of excited about it. Yeah. So we're going to all talk about it, but let's have a look, see what we get here.
I'm going to be watching that one.
It'll be on Rumble at 8 p.m. Eastern. So not our usual 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. We're doing it a little later to accommodate, but it's going to be really, really a great show. So it'll be pretty late for you, Mark, I'm afraid.
Well, I'll be in transit at that time, but I'll watch it the morning after.
Yeah. So it's on Beyond Mystic, which is that's Jean-Claude's show on Rumble.
Brilliant.
That's his channel on Rumble. Okay, so we've got the Empress. So it is a big wake-up call that it even got as far as it did, and it feels like it had a little help. Okay, which when they talked to one of those brothers that put it forward, they actually put 3 versions of it forward, and his version was making it the furthest. He says weird coincidences happened that brought it to as far as it got. So that's interesting. So it's certainly a wake-up call to say there's other ways we can do this. Okay, so that's interesting. And then this card here. So this is coming from the past. It feels like it was more karmically put in place, not necessarily by Alliance or White Hats. It wasn't one of their idea. It might have even been placed in the idea of these brothers, but not necessarily given to them. Like it's not part of the movie, let's say. It didn't start out at least being part of the movie. So that's really interesting. They just came up with doing it, but they could have got a whisper in the ear from the universe. Like channeled. It could have got channeled. So that's really interesting. It looks like it'll hit some bumps here. It's going to hit some bumps temporarily. Okay. And this is the secretive card here. Secretly, things could have already been done in the background that'll come out later. That it does actually do a lot of good. Could even be the thing that takes down that bunch. And it's already maybe been done in secret. That's what it looks like to me. So there's something going on in secret involving it. And there's a big fight about when to bring out what's really already been done. Whatever that is. So it looks like it's part of it now. And it was created almost by the universe stepped in. So that's interesting. It's like, it's not the White Hats or the Alliance that might save that situation. It's the universe. Well, that makes sense. The goddess, the gods, the God, whatever you want to call that energy.
Well, I keep getting very, very clearly that God's in control of all of this. And I still stick to the thing that we're all being moved around exactly as we're supposed to be to create, so, in a way, I don't need to ask you anything about the cards.
I agree, though. No, that's how I see all of life, really.
Me too. It's everything's exactly as it's meant to be, and that's something I learned 10 years ago. Very hard sentence to really fit to your life, especially when bad things happen. But it's beautiful the way it actually all comes together. Right, I'm going to ask this question because Elaine Staley has just asked this in the chat, and I think it's just a big question. I'd like to ask it: is Jesus coming back to save us?
Oh, I'm going to have to say no to that. We've got this card here. We've got this. A lot of what is known about Jesus looks like it might have been manipulated. This is thoughts and words used to hurt. So the bad guys, I'll say the dark hats, they used some of the stories about Jesus to hurt you. Okay. So I'm not saying there wasn't a Jesus. I think there was an energy and that was very evolved that came to the earth, and they call him Jesus now. Or there's other names for him too. Apparently Jesus is not even the actual name originally, but no, we'll just refer to him as Jesus. But they used a lot of that story abused it, let's just say. Okay. So waiting for that might not be the way to do it, right? Because she gets too focused and sad on that. More see the Jesus energy. So the energy you're calling Jesus, so that evolved soul in yourself.
Yeah.
She finds things within herself and manifests her own. So that savior energy that is Jesus, that you believe would be like what Jesus would be like, unconditional love, bring that into yourself and you can manifest saving yourself. And I think every single person, I don't feel in fear at this time and don't feel like I need saving. I feel like I'm going to rise above all of this. I don't buy the matrix for 1 second. I don't give them any of my energy anymore. And I'm not enslaved anymore because of it. So we all got to get there.
I've been saying that since I started this channel. I said it all across America. I got stopped going on stage in America, and people said, "You just lost the Christian base because of all your cussing, and do you care?" And I was like, "No, I don't care, because we've all got to let go of all of this stuff. We've all been conned, and the guru is you." Keep saying it. Maybe they'll get it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get it. By the way, are you still going to come and do Manchester next year?
Is that the April? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do it. I committed to April for Ireland.
Well,
I just need the details.
Yeah. There were bad details.
Or Manchester. Sorry. Yeah. I just need the details. You'll get me the details.
Yeah. So just to explain to people watching, I did Adventures in the Cosmic Suit live in Manchester, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and it was brilliant. And I'm going to do it again in April, and Janine's going to come. Yeah. Which is going to be amazing. And I might slip in an Ireland date as well, because people in Ireland are going, bring it to Ireland.
Ooh.
So that'd be the first live gig in the UK for you, right?
Yeah. I think if I'm coming that way, I better spend a couple weeks.
I think so. You need a tour. You got people to see.
Awesome.
Yeah. Lots to see. I don't understand this question exactly, but I'm going to ask it. Sunshine4230 says, does the square and compass refer to a person in our plane of existence? That's interesting. Does this person end the Cabal reign? So the square and compass is the Masonic logo. There's a lot of talk about Freemasons being good guys, originating from people like Charlie Freak, which I never close my mind to these things, because there's a lot of Masons that are very good people. I know that. But I think that's quite an interesting question. I'm not sure I fully understand it, because I've never heard anybody talk about the square and compass being a representation of a human being.
Okay.
Does that sound interesting enough to do the cards on?
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. Again, it looks like a truer way to look at it is bring that energy into you again. So no saviors, everybody basically by loving themselves and seeing their true nature. That's where there is like the savior comes. So that entity doesn't per se, but it doesn't really say no. It doesn't really say no. I do think that some of what you heard about them, or some of them are good, and you've been told bad things about them. So again, we have misinformation. I think after a certain degree, maybe they turn bad, but some of them are really good. So that's maybe what he's referring to. So this is interesting. She was in the middle of this, and I got the feeling it was telling me that some of them are good and some of them are bad, and she's a 3. So maybe we go 33 degree goes and up. Now they start initiating. Now that's where they infiltrated maybe. But before that, they could be good.
Do you want to know something funny? As you said that, I checked the time, 17:33, and I looked at the time we've been recording. It was 33 minutes.
I think that's the clue there. Yeah. So after a certain point, they got infiltrated, and not before that. So there's probably a lot of good Masons, and then there's those ones rising above that agreed to things once they got past that.
And Jason Q just invited himself to Manchester. Jason, you're definitely coming to Manchester. Yeah, we're gonna have a big Truth Tour reunion in Manchester.
Yay.
Fantastic. Right. Okay. Look, I'm going to ask this one. I know you've been asked this a billion times, but I also know that things are fluid. I remember when I asked you about my Morocco thing and about my Manchester gig. So it's 50-50. People still talking about the EBS. Has anything changed? Is it going to happen soon?
So we're getting a yes. That's a soft yes. So that means there's more to it than, there's more details to it. This card looks like we're looking at. So there's a whole new approach they're taking, but you still have a yes to it. But they might be looking at a whole new approach to the way they do it or when they do it, which is obvious because we thought it was going to happen already. And it's interesting. I wonder if new elements might have taken them in a new direction or looked at new time frames. I wonder if it had anything to do with that SCOTUS case, right? SCOTUS being the Supreme Court. Yeah, so that feels like, so these are down the middle here. So they're definitely wanting to bring out the information, and that's Mr. T in the white hats. But I feel like the timing's gone differently. Okay, but it looks karmic and necessary to do the thing. The EBS, and it makes sense because how else are you going to get all these people up to speed in a short time? So it looks like they got to do it. It's just how and when has changed.
Well, we are the manifesting creator beings, and there's literally millions of us praying for this EBS. So it's gonna happen. It's gotta happen. I mean, there's still people throwing stuff into the pot left, right, and center. So the other day, I noticed Kim Impossible, Kim Guggen, saying that Trump was dead again, and Kent Dunner said that before.
Yep.
Is Trump all right still?
Okay, let's have a look. I've looked at that several times.
I know,
but there is 3 or 4 versions of Trump out there for sure. Like they utilize different Trumps.
I'd be gutted if the real one was gone.
The real Trump. Okay, no, the real Trump is alive.
Hey, I knew it.
There's a real Trump, and even like in really good shape, and likely uses some kind of technology to keep himself in really good shape, which makes sense. I mean, I think he's a hybrid anyway. I don't think he's entirely I think he's part that Hierophant, not Hierophant, sorry, Hermit card. So I think he's from the future or something, or he travels back and forth. So,
well, the film, the Christopher Nolan film about Tesla, the time he created multiple versions of different people by just flipping the time, going back a day. But I know what the technology Trump uses: billions and billions of dollars. Sorry, can't resist. Chris Kesteven is asking. There was a lot of noise going on in London yesterday. There was a lot of bangs, smells, police and military aircraft. Tunnels were supposed to be. GB News was saying the roads were closed because of Just Stop Oil, and obviously Just Stop Oil has been used by the good guys to divert attention and give them reasons to close things down. That's what it appears to me. And the police putting out statements saying it was thunder, and so looks like big clear ups going in London at the moment.
Yep, big clear ups. You're right. So I think they were cleaning things out, and things got ugly too. So they might have hit a batch of tunnels that maybe haven't been cleaned out yet, or now they're meeting up with sort of dark hats. Because we know that there's little groups that didn't get the memo that their leaders are all rounded up, right? So they were trying to keep people safe. So this is a safety, keep it safe. That's why they did what they did in the cover up. It was all a big cover up, what they said. None of it was real. This card is about, they were trying to keep people as far away as possible from where the action was happening. This card says they're cloaking the real thing they were doing. Well, yeah, all of that makes sense. So this was underneath the tower. So there's truth to, I think, the cleanup, and it got kind of out of hand or a little bit ugly.
Yeah, that feels right to me. Marlene Stokes is asking, please ask Janine about the clarion call that all light workers will hear before the grand solar flash. There's a few people been talking about the trumpets in the sky recently, and I think that's kind of a lot of light workers want to know about that.
Okay, that so the solar flash could be, we got a little wait here. I think it's more 2023. You know, sometime in 2023 is my feeling about it, but we are close to it. And as far as the trumpet, so there's a soft yes, and people might hear it in different ways with this card, because this card moves around and it's all about what's in your heart. And you can actually manifest hearing them, not hearing them, or how you hear it. So it'll come to different people in different ways. I assume I'll get told when important things are happening, and it feels like I do. Mine comes through animal movements and actions done by animals. I'm always watching the nature world. Like a leaf hit my window the other day, and it was snowing out. The wind wasn't even going the direction the leaf came from. It was weird. And all the leaves are already gone in Canada, here in Alberta. So I was like, what the heck is that leaf doing? And it was really obvious, just hit my window, and I noticed it. And it was like, okay, that's telling me something. So as far as I'm concerned, everybody will hear it a different way.
2 massive ravens in the garden about half an hour ago, by the way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nothing to do with me throwing the sausages out the window.
They do like sausages, those ravens.
Yeah, they like anything.
Yeah.
But they were there, just sat on the fence looking at me. I was like, okay, Janine's coming on.
Yeah.
Loads of repeat questions here. Yeah, I was talking to Honey C. Golden this morning, and she thinks March kind of ties in with that, with the solar flash thing. I think there's a lot of good people agreeing about the solar flash event. There has to be the big event. It just has to be. I can feel it in my water.
See that?
Yeah.
That's definitely like a solar flash card. Yeah. So there's going to be all kinds of signs of it too. It looks like, from all different ways you're going to hear about it. So light workers, just keep paying attention.
Well, that's what it's all about. Just paying attention to the numbers, the animals, yourself, the sounds, everything. It's all going on all around you all the time. It's funny when I ask people to ask you questions, I say, don't repeat other people, don't make it personal. And then I have to wade through. If I do this again, guys, just ask very specific questions. And
yeah.
Although we do appreciate, I tried to make this interactive with the audience. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Tish W says, my question is about smallpox being released as the next pandemic according to SGAnon. Now, SGAnon's getting lots of attention. And he's related to Phil Godlewski in some way.
They're friends for sure. Yeah. I did a reading on it. They know each other. Yeah.
You always get good cards on Phil, and that causes controversy all the time.
I know. It's not that I'm not saying he's per se likable. Some people don't like I just get that he's at least for the humans, and his intentions are to make it a better world and also to make himself rich. I mean, yes, he does. He's really smart about that, and or likes focusing on that. And he makes that really clear. And
why not?
Like some people don't like Charlie Ward. I met Charlie Ward. I absolutely energetically could feel that he's doing it for the right reasons, regardless what you think of him. You know what I mean? Like, and then
I
other
think
people that
Charlie
everybody
is the
likes.
thing. And it's hard to support some people when there's all this hatred coming at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's trolls. I had to delete some trolls off this chat earlier.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But you know, it's all part of the war.
Yeah. But I consistently get good cards around them. So I'm going with that. I don't care what anybody says. They can say whatever they want. Also, when I listen to him, I resonate with some of what he says. So it's like, I don't like everything he says, and I don't like some of the stuff he's been involved in. But there's also, like, when you're getting that much hate towards somebody, that's suspicious. Look at how much hate they threw towards you in your past and me. So, you know, they could say the very same things about me and you. And we're awesome.
I know. And exactly.
So there.
It's just part of the war. It's just part of the war. And this is why it's all part of God's plan. It's all about you connecting with that mountain of light inside you.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're looking at the smallpox one.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
That's an interesting question.
So it's something that they're putting out there that I get will end in no traction. So it's not going to get any traction, but it's one of the things they're putting out there. There's a yes, and it was a plan, and they're going to out the bad guys on that plan by putting it forward. And they're already doing it in some areas. So yes, there is, but it'll all be about, like, they're just basically trying to out these guys. So that's our deep state or dark culty or dark hat bunch. They're just trying to out them, but it doesn't get any traction. People will resist buying into it. And it's doing several things. Outing these guys, they're going to be able to point back at that and say, this was in their little plan book. And they're also going to be able to say, look at how they manipulate you. And did you actually fall for this? It's going to wake up some people. I mean, I know it. There's some people that just won't wake up no matter what, but.
Well, I keep saying the same thing to people that ask. They're just doing these things so they can point back and go, see that? You fell for that.
Yep.
Don't do it again.
Yep.
Roisin here in Ireland has asked about autism. If the children who are living with autism, are they living between the veil? Are their parents their protectors and guardians? Because the autism thing is very, very, you know, my opinion is that that's been foisted on the human race. And I hope these kids with it, will come through the other side.
I did a deep dive on that, and I got, so yes to what he says. Everything that guy said, whoever wrote that question said, is true. So that means the parents are their guardians. And what else did he say at the beginning, or she?
Are they between, is Roisin, are they living between the veil?
Yeah. So yes, everything they said was a yes. So that's really interesting. And a lot of the stress around the souls chose to come to show us something. So even though it's really stressful and our culture doesn't always understand it, the souls chose to have a difficult life on purpose to show us something, maybe even to show us what not paying attention can do, what buying into, the medical system's long been corrupt. I mean, I've never bought into it for years and years and years. As soon as I left home at 17, I was questioning everything, every system, including the medical. So I feel like people need to wake up and stop giving their power away to doctors, to nurses, to medical personnel, or like everything. They're outing them. The whole system's been outed on this in this last 3 years. They're like literally at the helm of who's doing most of the damage in the situation that happened in the last 3 years, and anybody agreeing to it. So, and or pushing it or pushing these products. So they're in really big trouble. Like, I'm concerned. I mean, for people, I know some nurses, some really good ones that are yelling about this and outing what's going on, and some that are zipping up, and some really close to me. And it's worrisome.
Yeah, it really is.
What's going to happen?
Guys, go and watch The Sting with Paul Newman and Robert Redford, and you'll understand this whole thing. Listen, I know you've got a show with JC in 10 minutes, and you probably need a rest between this one and that one. So I'm gonna let you off because I really appreciate you coming on this time of day. And thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you, Janine. I will speak to you when I get back from my little trip, and we'll set up Manchester so you know what's going on. But have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks everybody for watching.
Awesome. Bye-bye.
Bye.